Hey there berries, welcome to my support 12.1 tier list. I hope you guys had a good holiday and I hope you're now refreshed and ready for the climb ahead for the start of the season. Now if you're unfamiliar with my tier list, I do these tier lists every 2 weeks, and what we'll do is we'll go through tier 5 all the way to tier 1, so you know what champions are kind of garbage right now and what champions are looking kind of strong in the support role for this patch. Before we dive straight into that tier list, there are some changes in this patch that we're going to talk about, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave these questions in the comment section down below, or you can catch my live stream twitch.tv/Bizzleberry. I'm pretty much live there every day. I'm going to be streaming on Wednesday and on Friday. Friday is going to be a massive stream since that is when the season starts, and I'll be grinding out and seeing how I do out of those placements and stuff. So one of the champion changes going into this patch is Sona. They're actually nerfing her. She has the highest win rate at the moment out of every single champion in League, primarily supposedly because of the Archangel staff change. So Archangel staff is very easy to stack on Sona, and it seems that going Moonstone with potentially an early tier and then getting Archangel's second item is the highest win rate at the moment on Sona at like a 57% win rate, which is something insane like that. So they are nerfing her slightly. Her win rate will go down, but I think she's still going to be like up there top 5 in League, honestly. I'm kind of surprised that she stayed at this high for so long, but you know, if you want a relatively easy champion to learn and play and start off playing support, then Sona is definitely the easiest one to do that with the Moonstone into the Archangel staff build. That will still be fine and relevant for the start of the season. Now this patch isn't huge. Sona is just one of the champion changes. There's some item nerfs to assassins and things like that, which is super nice, but the big one, this is a massive change that's going to be coming into bot lane. If you've played bot lane long enough, you know about PP people. I don't know why I'm talking about PP. People teleporting down the bot lane and showing their PPs and ruining our day. We've got top lane and mid lane coming down with their teleports, and this change will make it so that they can't teleport to minions until the turret plates fall off, which is at 14 minutes. So no top lane or mid laner swinging it around in the bot lane until the 14-minute mark. They can still teleport to the turret, so they can prevent a tower dive, which is nice. But this is going to change a lot in terms of top lane meta. You know, it's very unusual that top lane doesn't run TP, and if they do, it's usually Ignite like cheese otherwise. So I'm expecting more Ignite top laners. Macro play could be becoming an issue in the mid game because of that. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But in terms of the bot lane, we should have more like 2v2, 2v3s if you want to include the jungle, and that should be about it. So yeah, that's pretty huge. If you have like a weaker early game, maybe early game bot lane, you're not going to be in theory as punished potentially as much because of the you know, no top lane TP to worry about. But on the flip side of that, you know, if you're playing like double poke like a Caitlyn and a Lux, you know, you're gonna abuse that a lot in the bot lane, push the enemy to under their turret, and there's not going to be much counterplay to that because your top laner won't be able to come down and save you against that. The only thing would be like the jungle, but if their jungler is also hovering around bot lane, then you're going to be kind of struggling a lot more down there. So there's pros and cons to this, so we'll have to see how it goes, but it's a huge change, and we've only got like a 2-day gap to kind of test this out before, you know, the ranked season goes live. So it's going to be interesting to see how both top laners and bot laners cope with this teleport change. Yeah, it's super interesting. And also, if you're interested in pro play, this is a massive change for pro play as well. So this is going to change up both solo queue and pro play quite a lot. And that's really it in terms of the patch notes. Next patch, we could see the Jenna changes. If you're unaware, they're looking at slightly reworking Jenna. So, and I think they mentioned Ari as well. So keep an eye on that in the near future. But going into the meat and potatoes of the tier list, we have, one moment, sorry. My browser is killing me right now. Alright, how are we doing? We live? We're good. So tier 5, do not playlist. If you see anything there in a tier 5, do not recommend. Some of them are cheesy. Some of them might get you 1 win in 10 games if you're lucky. Just don't bother with those champions. Behind my head is Set and Trundle. Tier 4, Senna got moved down a huge amount. I think this is probably, luckily I kind of got this wrong during preseason, so it didn't affect anyone's ELO. But the Senna was absolutely garbage during preseason. I had better expectations from her. She let everyone down, let herself down, and hopefully going into the next season, Riot can give her some boost. Because right now, Senna is a really fun champion to play, but she's like one of the worst win rates in solo queue right now. What else is down there? Bard is one of those champions that you can play in high ELO. I would not recommend him in Plat minus, which is kind of what this tier list is designed for. So if you're in Plat minus ELO, avoid playing Bard unless maybe you are in Plat. Thresh also not very good win rates. Pyke is starting to climb up in win ratios, I believe. He's getting a slight bit more play rate, but they are nerfing a couple of assassin items, but it shouldn't affect Pyke too much. So overall, Pyke will still be viable into the next patch if you really want to play him. But everything else there I really wouldn't recommend. Tier 3. Up we go. Yumi, Morgana, Braum, Alistair, Zeref, Rakan, Ari, and that's the Glacial Augment Ari that I posted about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was pretty decent actually. And Karma tier 3. And I'm going to say Karma tier 3, but I am like 3.5. I'm just going to make that very clear right now. She's not doing very well at all right now. She's not as bad as most of the tier 4s, but she's having a tough time. So I was considering putting her tier 4, but I didn't quite have it in me to put her in there. But yeah, 3.5 on for Karma. She's just not performing at all. Yumi, if you can trust your AD carry, is higher than this. But generally, if you're not playing duo, then I would not recommend playing Yumi. Yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. Yumi in high ELO is super annoying. Her ban rate goes up because AD carries get stronger, are just better at the game, and they can handle playing with Yumi much better. But overall, I would not recommend her playing her if you're in gold minus. What else do we have here? I mean, the Morgana pick, she's doing okay with the poke setups with like the Caitlyn, for example. Misfortune also can assist with her with the Rain It Down, I think it's called, her E. The slow makes it an easier binding. But overall, most of these champions in tier 3 are just not quite there. Unless maybe you're one-tricking them. Maybe you've got something special up your sleeve if you're one-tricking them, but they're just not quite there. But the ones to kind of keep your eye on in the near future in case, they get buffed or nerfed for some reason. Tier 2, we've done some slight movement here. Zillion is tier 3, was tier 3, now he's tier 2. And Brand's been moved up to tier 2. So that's Brand, Jenna, Nautilus, Blitzcrank, Seraphine, and Zillion. So Brand and Zillion win rates have gone up. If you're wondering what mythic item for Zillion, it's Shreddius is the highest win rate at the moment for him. And Brand's been having generally a good time at the moment. I would recommend Dark Harvest overall. I did post a First Strike Brand video recently, and that was kind of interesting. I'll let you do your own testing on that, but if you're not sure, the safest one is Dark Harvest Brand. Jenna is doing decently at the moment. She is getting reworked. I have no idea why. I don't know if her win rates will go up or not. So if you're unsure about picking up Jenna, I would just say wait until this next patch, and then we can get the number changes on her. Right now, it could... Basically, if you are new to support, do not learn how to play Jenna at the moment. There's just no point at the moment. So just don't play Jenna unless like you've played her a lot and you're comfortable with her and know her kit. That's fine. Play Jenna if you're one of those people. Nautilus and Blitzcrank have very similar win rates in solo queue at the moment. Both, you know, get the job done, engaging on the carries. I'd say like Blitzcrank's stronger in lane. Nautilus is stronger as the game goes on. He's got much more crowd control. His ulti's better than Blitzcrank's. So leaning more towards Nautilus if you're able to, but you know, Blitzcrank is a you know, low ELO stomper, as I'm sure you're aware. Seraphine tier 2. Now, I am firmly adamant about Glacial Augment Seraphine. I think it's pretty damn good. I think her most popular build still is Guardian, but I would urge you guys to at least test Glacial Augment Seraphine, at least do 2 games with her and see how you feel about that. And yeah, I think that if you can just get some decent ultis down in team fights, whether or not you're winning or losing, it's a good head spinner. I don't even know how to define it. Like, it's just, it turns the game on its head. And you know, I've got wins with Seraphine ulti when we've been like 5 to 7k goal behind just because I landed a really good ulti. Just that one button can just change everything. But it does mean you have to have team fights, and if there are no team fights happening, then Seraphine just kind of doesn't really do too much. But on the whole, usually there is like one game deciding team fight near an end of a game, and Seraphine can do very, very well for that final fight. Tier 1. We got tier 1 is slightly thicker than usual. I don't usually like having so many champions up here in tier 1, but these are probably the ones you're going to be looking at for at least the next 6 months. So we talked about the Sona nerf. It's not going to be too impactful for her. I feel like she's going to do pretty well overall. I think my favorite champion on this tier 1 is Soraka. Soraka's doing very, very well right now, and I think she's very consistent, and with the amount of harass you can do in lane and the sustain and how much aggro she gets and how much focus she gets in team fights in which, you know, they're not focusing down your carries, is pretty damn huge. So yeah, Soraka is probably my most favorite one though. Nami is close second. I think Nami's doing very, very well too. Well, I don't even have to say think, she is doing very well right now. So definitely recommend at, you know, looking at her if you want to play those enchanters. Those 3 enchanters overall are pretty good, but my favorite there is like the Soraka and the Nami personally. If you are playing with a hyper carry like a Cogmore, a Vayne, for example, then or Twitch, the Lulu excels really, really well as long as your AD carry is able to keep up. She does very, very, very well, and the win rates are very high with those type of champions. Do not play her with anything else. And, you know, also you gotta make sure that the person that you're playing with is an AD carry main. Otherwise, just play something else. Honestly, you need to have a good AD carry as well in order for this to work. So those are the requirements. Just find out what their win ratios are on those champions. Yeah, it's just the way it is, really. Lux is my favorite mage. It's no surprise. I recently had a was it Mummy Lux video posted yesterday, and that shows you the true potential of Lux. It's just kind of crazy. First strike Lux is doing very, very well, and she hasn't received any nerfs this patch. So if you are looking to solo carry your games, then, you know, playing Mummy Lux will definitely benefit your LP. Zyra also got shifted up. I think she's been doing very well too. The kind of stealthy, kind of like edging her way up. I think overall, I would, you know, if I was going to choose Zyra over Lux, it would be because the enemy team was going to have high base HP and, you know, like tanks, for example, maybe a lot of bruisers. That way you would get benefit out of the Leandries and the Demonic Embrace. So that's the kind of like situations you're looking to play Zyra. Whereas if in most of the teams these days are very, very squishy, so Lux will probably be the most favored in like 80% of the games. But knowing how to play Zyra, where Lux won't necessarily be able to one-shot people and things like that, you know, that's when Zyra kind of like sticks out, and she does very well on those neutral objectives for the dragons and the barons and the heralds. And Leona, my number 1 tank. I believe her win rate, I'm just going to throw this out there, I believe her win ratios are very similar to Nautilus. What I'll say is that I prefer Leona's kit. I wanted to have like one tank. I think tanks overall have been having a tough time this season, but I wanted to have like a tank in tier 1 to say, look, if you want to play tank, this is the one that you want to play. And I think Leona overall in the majority of situations is better than Nautilus, just because her crowd control kit is just insane and relatively low cooldown. Yes, it's kind of predictable when she does go in, but you know what tank isn't? If you just utilize maybe like Hicks Tech Flash coming out of a brush, you know, her crowd control is just very, very good. Her damage is decent, and she's very tanky as well. She's got everything that Rel wants, really, and Rel can't have it. But I hope you guys enjoy my Season 12 climb. I'm going to be posting ranked videos every single day on this channel, including, you know, tier lists like this. And I'm looking to pump out support guides very often throughout the first half of the year to make sure that you understand how to play these champions. So Season 12 support guides, individual champion guides, will be starting probably from next patch onwards. I'm going to be grinding a lot on my accounts in terms of LP, but I'll try my best to get like one support guide out next week. So if you do want me to do a support guide next week, put down in the comment section down below what champion you want me to cover. Maybe it's something in tier 1, maybe it's something in tier 2, maybe. Let me know and I'll see what I can do for you. But all the best, happy new year, and you know, I'm sure I'll see you over on my stream, right? You watch me on twitch.tv/Bizzleberry, right? I'm sure I'll see you over there very soon. Take care, all the best, and I hope this season works out for you.